Howie here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one I'm going to be talking about a super cool event that was held by the Discord Power Weekly. And basically the special rules for this event is that it's single prize only, so no Pokemon in the rule box, and it's also limited to the first Scarlet and Violet set, so players had to be really creative with what kind of decks they wanted to play. Now unfortunately, a lot of players in this event didn't get the memo that the rules were different. So for whatever reason, there is a Lost Zone, a Shadow Rider. I believe one of these is like a Dondozo deck or something with God of War. Maybe that's it over there. There's also like a Giratina deck and a Snorlax Stall deck. Basically, all these decks are invalid, so that's a bit unfortunate. However, there was a ton of other decks that are worth, paying attention to and having a look at, because this is a pretty interesting idea for an event, to be honest, because it forces players to really think outside the box and, not just build whatever the best single prize deck would be. So the deck that came first is like this Miraidon Pachirisu with electricity generator. Fairly obvious synergy. We're just trying to use generator to power up stuff like Miraidon, while also using Pachirisu's Everyone Discharge attack to do a decent amount of damage. So obviously there's like a limited amount of trainers in the format as well, so Scarlet and Violet only. So you have to make use of stuff like EXP Share, Crushing Hammers, Pokegear. We can still use Research, which is pretty good, but other supporters like Youngster are also pretty viable. Judge is very disruptive, but can be pretty bad for yourself because there's just so few draw engines in the format, so have to bear that in mind. There's also Miriam for Pokemon Recovery, as well as stadiums like Beach Court and Mesagoza, so pretty cool first place deck list. Second place was like a Houndstomp Graveyard Psychic box deck, so the only other attackers in the deck are this like Drifloon and Driflim, but mainly the other Pokemon here are there to be discarded, so you can use Houndstomp and Graveyard's Last Respects attack, which does 80 damage and then 10 more for each psychic Pokemon in your discard pile. And then of course, you can power up your next attacker using EXP Share and find additional Pokemon using stuff like Mesagoza. So pretty cool deck list overall. And then third place was a Dondozo Tatsugiri deck, which you kind of expect to see doing well in this event because of the high damage output and high HP. Does have a thin line of Mediachan here with the Ace Punch tier, I think. It does 30 damage, and then choose one of your opponent's active attacks, and the opponent can't use it during the next turn. So very good at just shutting off certain decks, but also really nice because it hits the Pachirisu and Miraidon for weakness. And then probably the only draw engine in the format, or the only true draw engine, is going to be Varoom and Reverum with the Rumbling Engine ability. There's also some Salazar in here, which is cool as well. Free retreat, and also a decent attack in the form of Turing that just allows you to draw 2 cards. So pretty cool. Usually, like, you see the same sort of trainers in every deck list. I do think Pokemon Catcher might be the only Gust effect, though, in the format, which is interesting to note, so forces players to be a little bit more creative on that front as well. Then the list that placed fourth was another, like, Miraidon Pachirisu deck, this time playing Pawmi, Pawmo, and Pawmot as well, so you can use the Electropause attack doing 230, so just want to KO anything else, which is pretty cool. Also see some more unique supporters like Jock and Judge and stuff, so yeah, pretty sound lists overall. So that's kind of like wrapping up top 4 here. I think if we scroll down a bit, we should see some more interesting decks, I believe. And this one was this was like a Meowscarada Crocodile deck. Featuring the Meowscarada allows you to move an energy from your opponent's active to their hand, and then the Crocodile, which, discards most energy. I'd have to check the rulings, but it seems to me most players didn't play more than 2 copies of each Stage 2, so maybe that's a ruling or just a choice that a lot of players made. We'll just have to check that out. And no, it doesn't look like that. So one thing I did notice is so many players weren't playing more than like 2 copies of a Stage 2, so I wondered if maybe there was a ruling in place to prevent that, but it does seem to me that players went for a split of most Stage 2s, so Meowscarada and Crocodile in the same deck, make of that what you will, but it is pretty interesting to see, also playing the Squawkabilly and Howlucha. So that is at least something cool to bear in mind. And then if we go to the standings, I believe there is one more really interesting deck, but just see if it was this one. I know there's like another Houndstomp deck that did pretty well. Yeah, it's this one. So yeah, this is a Quaxalava Pawmot deck, which is really cool. So Pawmot, again with the Electropause attack, but also the ability allows you to accelerate lightning energy to it from the deck. And then Quaxalava allows you to accelerate energy from the hand. So you basically have this like double charge effect, which allows you to use Electropause every single turn with a manual energy attachment, which is really cool. Also still using generator, but manual attachments and the abilities should see you there. But yeah, pretty cool list overall. So yeah, just kind of a quick look at this event. What kind of event would this look like further down the line? Or if you did it for different sets, like a sword and shield set, for example, how cool would that be? But yeah, it's been our power. Thank you for watching this video. Just let me know what you think about this format down below. Would you ever play in it? And yeah, thank you for watching.